Okay, so we got probably a long episode ahead of us. I'm wondering, do we just want to
just jump right into it?
Jump right into it?
I'm okay with that.
Forgo the thing. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of There Will Be Duds. This is episode 182. Yes?
Okay. Yep, that's the one.
I can't have the thing open while I'm doing this, so I can never remember the number. And with me I'm TJ, and with me as always.
As always, I am Nick, and today, well, I'll let you introduce them.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing some movies that are go back into my past a bit. So I brought some.
This
people
predates
from
the podcast.
Oh yeah. This well predates the podcast. I mean this, yeah. So this these are some people from that past and present, I guess. So yeah, you guys introduce yourselves for it.
Right. My name is Ida, and I'm here. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. And then and also.
And I'm Peyton, and I'm also here.
Nice. I guess I could have went a little bit more into I used to be in. I've met these people, these guys through a Tumblr roleplay.
You sound so
blogs.
embarrassed already.
It's weird to this is this is an Alcoholics Anonymous sort of like coming to terms. I've never said this out loud publicly, so
Now it's on a record.
Where we ran Tumblr blogs where we role played as characters from this
You keep going into
series
details.
movie. Yeah. Well, and we all, me and Ada played like characters that we would say their names, Nick, and you'd be like, I don't who like.
Oh, I am assuming there's going to be a lot of that tonight where I'm like,
fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the book though, like we were talking the other day that like I think my character had like one like run-on sentence mentioned about him, and that's about it.
You see, you'd think I know all the characters' names by how often they like scream them at each other all the time, but it really does just kind of wash over me.
Especially if no one has a crush on them.
I don't think anyone screamed our characters' names.
Yeah, that's how the second one is for everybody. So I mean,
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, these are some it's some important movies to me in a way. Some important movies to us. So we're gonna. So we're splitting it up into two episodes, but we're doing both the episodes back to back here. But I'm gonna do a crazy thing here, and I'm gonna start with the first movie first. So we're gonna do Battle Royale from 2000, directed by Kinji Fukasaku, and in it a class of middle schoolers, high schoolers,
It's like 9th grade, so like right on the cusp.
Yeah, junior high.
Yeah. They get dropped off onto an uninhabited island via the battle bus, and they are forced to. I had to throw something in there. It's called Battle Royale because it's like the Fortnite. It's like PUBG. It's like they got a time limit, and they got to kill each other off until there's one of them left. And this was obviously inspired a lot of future movies, video games, whatnot, so based on a book. Big fan of the book too, and I'm interested to see how this will go because despite us all coming from, I guess, the Battle Royale fandom, not Nick, but I know we don't like. I think that I might have the most love for the movie. I think that I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know that you at least have a lot more criticisms than I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely not me who has the most love for the movie, but
yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
know,
will say,
what
like,
am I
I'll take on my role as like the outsider. I do remember though, like you watching these movies. God, I think when we were in high school, and I remember coming to
Probably,
your
yeah.
house at one point in time, and I think watching them, and I know the like Quentin Tarantino connection.
Mhm.
I know it's like a movie that he likes. So
Yeah.
it's like it's I'm not like a total outsider, but I don't know. Like I've never read the books. So it started as it's like a novel. It's not like manga, right? It started as a
Well,
novel.
Yes, but there is
Well,
a
okay,
manga.
all right.
Originally, it was the book, and then the movie, and then the manga, I believe.
Yeah, the
Oh,
manga was
that's a
like
weird
2003
trajectory.
or something.
Back there. That's my display in front of my Godzilla.
Oh,
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Represent.
Yeah. But yeah, originally just a normal novel, words on paper.
quite
stuff.
controversial from what I'm reading. Like apparently a lot of people were like up in arms about it. Was it because it was just children murdering each other? Is that like what everyone was like
I think
upset
so.
by?
And the government
Because I would say like
implications.
watching
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
because like watching the movie with like the level of like violence. I mean, maybe this is just compared to like today's standards. It seems pretty tame. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
like digital blood effects that I'm
Mhm.
like there was some practical stuff, but I'm noticing
Yeah,
like
they
some of the
use some
gunshots
scripts,
there
yeah.
would be like digital blood splatters, and
Mhm.
I'm like, come on, there's not even like squibs. There's not even like viscera or gore. It seemed
Yeah.
pretty tame given its like reputation from like what I've read about apparently like parents' rights groups
Yeah.
who are like
Well,
upset about this.
I think
Yeah.
the issue isn't even that it's violent, it's that it's violent with children. And especially
Yeah.
Right.
like
Yeah.
in
That's,
2000, like showing children dying on screen was super controversial. So it was more
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think,
think
than the level of blood and gore.
Well, and I
it
know
was
in
before like Hunger Games and stuff. So
yeah. And I know in particular in America, it never like had a wide release, and I don't know if it's confirmed or just like people theorizing that was like due in part because Columbine like had just happened. And
Yeah.
I was reading
That's-
about like them doing like there have been talks about doing an American remake over the years, but like every time they do, there's like, oh, there was a school shooting recently, and it's like you can always count on there being a school shooting to stop the American remake from happening because there happened so much.
It's awesome. Land of the free, home of the brave, baby. It's awesome. It's great.
yeah.
oh, you guys.
That's us, cheeky old.
We can't all live somewhere nice.
Yeah.
No way to prevent this, says the only country where this regularly happens. Classic onion headline.
Strange.
Yeah, it's a mix because like it's funny because you're right. Like I wonder if it's just because I've seen this movie so many times that like I'm kind of desensitized to the violence. But still, there are some like violent things that happen. Like like when Mitsuko like sticks the scythe in Megumi. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like I thought she was the one that got the arrow through her neck, but that is
Mayumi.
Mayumi.
Miami.
I am a little rusty on this, but yeah, when she like sticks
Don't
that in her
worry.
neck and you hear that like crunchy, like bloody. So there is like some pretty like gritty moments or whatever, but yeah, I'm not like ooh really. I'm just like yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Same. And I don't know if it's because I watch like horror movies in general, but like when I've shown this to my friends, they all kind of have that like reaction to like when Nobu's collar explode and when Megumi gets her
That
throat
too,
slit.
yeah.
Like, it seems like people who don't watch as much gore might react strongly to
Sure.
it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
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 It's
Yeah, maybe
also-
that's it. I do watch some pretty heinous horror movies.
I think
It's
that-
also like highly stylized as well. Like it's
Sure.
got the God, what is it? Is it the end of Yojimbo or Sanjuro, where like the blood effect kind of malfunctioned and
yeah.
it does like the huge blood spurt that sort of like became like a thing that everyone's like, oh, that's cool. Whatever that was, like that's cool.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Or
again, Quentin
Kill
Tarantino,
Bill.
like totally.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like when she fights the crazy 88 and there's like tons of just like slashes and then it's just like
Right.
geysers of blood.
It's like it
oh yeah,
makes-
that
Sorry, finish
it's almost
your thought, sorry.
cartoonish. It's cartoonish.
It's like the
Like, it's
hyper
still-
violence makes it less violent in a way, kind of, or less like because it's not realistic. Yeah, I think kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like you were saying. Sorry, Peyton, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, I know when I showed my friends, the only scene that really got to anyone was Takako and Naida. So
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
know,
a good
'cause
one too.
that's a
Yeah.
very visceral scene.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you know
but
who
most
she's talking about,
people-
Nick?
No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
That's where, okay. I'll put it in terms for you. Gogo Yubari. She
Okay.
stabs the Chris Kattan guy in the dick multiple times.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, but I feel like most people who I watch that with at least are just like, hell yeah, go for it.
Right?
Like,
yeah. That is, yeah.
They're
well,
always
yeah,
rooting
'cause,
for
like,
her. So
Doesn't he say something like, "I could do whatever
Oh,
I
yeah.
want
Oh,
right now"?
yeah,
So it's just like,
Yes,
He earned
it's that's way
Yeah.
it's way more. I don't know. That goes a little bit farther in the book too, so
mm.
it's even
Yeah.
more
Oh.
deserved, I
Ugh.
guess. I think
well,
the
she
other
doesn't stab
thing.
him in the dick in the book, though. Just pointing out. Not that it
Oh, she
matters,
doesn't.
No, does lose an eyeball though,
but No.
and a nut.
That's
Ooh.
right. Yeah.
Like a grape, I believe is how it's described.
Again, I'm thinking of like Kill
Beautiful.
Bill when she like does that
Yeah.
to yeah.
L. I had to think about it for a second.
Right.
I think the other thing, because you mentioned when Nobu dies with the collar, the other thing that maybe keeps me from like reacting in, I guess, a negative way to the violence is like one of my favorite things about this movie is I think Kinji Fukasaku like knows how to shoot violence, and he knows how like every kill looks and sounds so good. It's so satisfying. I love like I could just listen to I could just like be editing or like writing and just have this movie just like in my ears, like the sound that it makes. And this is like it feels like a weird thing to say, but it's really one of like a really satisfying like auditory experience to me. When Nobu's neck explodes, it's such a satisfying sound, and then that like bubbling like digital noise that happens as he like slumps to the ground. And also the shots. Like I love the cinematography. Like you get that shot from behind him as it and then like him falling over, or like I love it almost seems like a choreographed dance in the lighthouse. That last shot where Satomi's up on the table and she
It's
Yeah.
good.
does like a spin and like everybody dies at like the same time. Like
They
she
all
just kind of
fall, yeah.
sprays and they boom. It's like like synchronized dying. And there's
Yeah.
plenty of those. I think the murder in this and the killing, I think the violence is really good. I think it's done really well. I think he's a good director, so you know.
Well, the other aspect
Yeah.
that I was very entertained by was like the dichotomy of like the hyper violence and also like in between every scene of violence, the like, while we're here, does anyone want to admit that they have a crush on me? Like that mentality. Like
Yes.
every
Oh, this-
single person is just
Yeah.
like literally is again, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of their names. Like literally someone's dying and they're just like, I always thought you were cute. Ugh.
Yes.
And then
when Hiroki
like,
dies. Yeah.
Hiroki, yeah.
like
Yeah.
Would you believe
Like,
it's
and
worse
I-
in the book?
Oh,
is
yeah.
it?
That's more
Oh,
crushes.
It's
no.
Yeah.
so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's in love with Shuya
Like-
every 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Every page. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something about it that I think adds a certain level of charm. Like I think it's very charming. It's like it's very silly. Like it doesn't like take itself too seriously, I guess, in that regard. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my god, I can't. It's like this melodramatic like soap opera or whatever. But it was very entertaining. to just like, you know, it's like you're in this situation where it's like extremely dire. Most of your friends are going to die, and all they can think about is just like, it's like, well, I have to admit that I've had a crush on you forever now, because I guess this is the perfect scenario for that to happen. Like,
sure, yeah. If you're like, you know, no regrets or whatever, like it's, you know,
It's a
in
little
that sense.
sweet, but like it's also pretty sad because obviously they are just like young teenagers, and it might be like their first crushes and whatever, and they'll never like, you know, experience the actual relationships out of it,
Sure.
and
yeah.
it
Yeah, you
brings
could-
like that kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, you
Maybe
could look
could.
at it that way, that it's like, I mean, that is maybe that is like one of the most important things to them at that point in their life. I don't know,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. I feel like it's such a 15-year-old thing to be like, oh, my crush is the most important thing because I'm in love with them. And this could have been
Mhm.
forever. Even though, you know, with an
Yeah.
adult brain, it's like, that's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me too. With Hiroki, not when he dies, but a thing that I wrote down is when like shortly before that, when Takako dies, who's again Go-Go, yellow tracksuit. She's dying and he finds her, and she says it does the thing that it does a couple times where it like goes to like a black like subtitle card and it says, "God, can I say one more thing?" And then her last thing is, "Hiroki, you look really cool." And I was like, "That's your last thing?" I was like, "That's really lame." But then I really like his response is, "You're the coolest girl in the world." And I think that is a great line. I really like that. Her part's a little silly, but I think it leads into, you know, a moment that I think is really sweet and that I really, really like. Especially when, you know, like, again, more from the book, that like from his perspective, it's like a platonic friendship because he's interested in the other girl. And it's just, I don't know. I really like Hiroki too, you know. He's a sweet guy. Okay, I don't know. I have a shitload of notes. And I'm just kind of wondering, when are we gonna like, do we want to focus on movie, and then maybe at the end we can just go into like a diatribe into the novel stuff or whatever, or
Yes,
I
I'll
don't know.
try to ignore the novel.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
What's
Okay.
I guess what's the fan consensus then? Is
Oh.
like the movie is like the best representation, then the manga, then the book, or like what's the sort of
No,
like
not at all.
I don't no.
Not even a little.
What's like what I guess
Wait, were you going? Which way were you going? Like bottom up or?
No, I'm just listing them off. Like, what's the consensus among like the sort of fan base of like what's the best representation of the most interesting one?
Novel.
Yeah, I think so. I might be on the outs that I tend to flip flop. I don't know. For a long time I was like the novel's the best, but then I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I like that the movie does. Again, I'm of a person that I try to be of like two minds, where I don't really try to like, which I know is a thing that you talk about that you struggle with, is like separating them as like different mediums of art. It's like, you know, there's some things that movies do that books can't do, and there's some things that books do that movies can't do. And I really like both of those. I think they're both really good in their own areas. Like, I think the movie is a really good movie of this story, and I think the novel's a really good story or really good book like version of the story. The manga, no.
We don't talk about the manga.
We don't talk about it. All right.
I hope if there's any fan consensus, it is that the manga is the worst. I don't know if there's anybody who likes.
Is it like a
the
cash
most.
grab? Was it just like, hey, this thing's really popular right now, so like we got to pump out stuff?
Possibly.
Can't even describe it, but it's so sexualized. Like that's the worst part.
Yeah.
It sexualizes like most of the main kids in this, and it has you know some rape scenes, and it's all like
The
Good
art
God.
style.
There's like a whole
is-
side story of
Rough.
like, Mitsuko is like this, like, I mean, she's like painted to be kind of a queen bitch anyways, but she's like, there's like this whole side story where she's like a prostitute and stuff. And but also, which you could look at as like it's kind of awesome, but it's not, is like it's like Battle Royale Dragon Ball Z. Like, there's literally
Yeah.
there's a part where Hiroki fights Kazuo,
He does
and it's like
Kamehameha.
that he basically does a Kamehameha, but it's like, no, he's channeling the wind or something like that
Okay,
to do it.
sure.
But that's because Kayoko, like the girl that he likes, taught him how to do it.
That's
Like she's the one who started it.
Yeah, she's like
She taught him about anime before she died.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there is so much crying. I remember the last like 2 or 3 books where it's basically just those last 4, like Shogo, Noriko, and Shuya, and then Kazuo. And it's down to like Shuya, and all he has to do is like shoot Kazuo, who's like maimed and blinded, and he's just like, this is for all the people, everybody that we lost, and it goes on for so fucking long.
Oh my God.
That's the worst part about the manga to me, is like,
I
oh my
like
God.
that you say there's a lot of crying, but it's all like 99% Shuya doing the
Oh
crying.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
like
Yeah.
a lot of crying from him.
Yeah, but then everybody
I-
that dies has their few chapters of crying too, like as they
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
bleed out. Yeah.
As far as the consensus, though, I will say I think you flip-flopping between the movie and the novel is kind of like a hot take. Like, I think that's mainly you.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think a lot of fans do
Like
that.
the movie as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
only
don't know, Peyton, what do you think?
I've only seen a couple of people say the movie was their favorite. Weirdly,
Mhm.
I've seen way more people who debate between like whether the novel or the manga is better,
Manga.
which I think is an insane take, because obviously novel
That's
over that.
crazy.
But no, yeah, some people
That's crazy.
some people are like, yeah, it's a little over sexualized and the kids look like they're 40 except for the ones that look like they're 7, but it's
Yeah.
great. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, hey, since we're on this topic, I had a thing that we could do, and feel free to let me know if you guys are uncomfortable, but you'll know pretty quick that it's mostly a joke. So, fuck, marry, kill, Kitano, Sakamochi, or Kamon. And Nick, I want you to answer first with the least. So just I want you to
throw me a bone, give me something.
So Kitano is these are all the teachers in the 3 different versions.
Oh, okay,
because
so he's the rugby guy.
No. In the first movie. No.
Oh,
so
he's
this is Beat Takeshi's character, the teacher.
Okay, so
that's
he's,
Kitano.
in the second one, he has that scene with his daughter where he's like, I guess I should, that guy?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
No, so this is first
Mr.
movie.
Eats cookies.
Just
No, he's right. In the flashback.
Oh, yeah, he
Kitano
is in the
So
flashback.
he's
talks to
in the
Shiori.
second
Yeah.
movie, but he's like he's wearing like the tracksuit. He's kind of the sadistic
Yeah, yeah.
teacher
Yes.
that's like giving him the
Yes.
breakdown
Nobu
of the rules.
stabbed him.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Okay.
And then so in each version, he's a different character. I don't know. They like just changed him completely between each ones.
Oh.
So the novel is Sakamochi, which I'll just say like he's somewhat similar like tonally to this one, but he's more of he's a company man. He's like, he was not their teacher. He did not know them before.
So he doesn't have
Battle
that
Royale.
relationship with them.
Yeah, but he's just a more straightforward, like, this is a job and I am a company guy. And then Kamon, I just want you to look up Google Kamon Battle Royale manga and just go off of that. I'm just not
All
going
right.
to give you anything.
Spell it for me.
Kamon.
Yeah.
AMON.
So just off of the information you have, I want you to go first.
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. He looks like Benny Safdie. I like this. The pure evil villains.fandom.com. It just says pure evil above his name. All right.
It's not wrong.
So that's the
That's
manga
all you- that's all the-
characterization.
yeah, that-
characters. Okay. FMK. Well, kill this guy.
Okay.
I guess I'll marry the company man. He seems a little bit more detached, a little more maybe down to earth, you know.
Okay.
And then the movie adaptation sounds like a freak. So like, I guess that's the guy I'm gonna fuck. So
I was really hoping with like the little information you had, I wanted you to say that you were gonna fuck the manga one and be like, oh,
Well, look at
He
him.
does have
No,
those,
yeah.
he does have
Choose
those
that.
big ass lips.
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
talking
no
about.
one wants.
No, yeah, 100% kill him. Yeah, I would maybe flip flop the others personally. I think the
No.
movie one, Kitano, he's got a little bit of like I can fix him sort of thing. You know,
His
He'll bring
nose
you-
is like, he's got like a double bridged nose. It's so
what's that?
grotesque.
He'll bring you an umbrella and a
Ooh.
popsicle.
Yeah.
True.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
right. He's got that little soft side. Yeah, you know.
Who would you choose, Peyton?
I think you have to marry the movie version because,
There you go.
umbrellas, popsicles, and also, not to get too real, but he's the only one who didn't commit any sexual assault that we know of, which,
Okay, I mean-
is a big plus.
That's a good point.
I mean, the bar's in hell, but
That we know of.
that we know of.
I mean, I was gonna say that I would also marry Sakamochi, like the novel version. I was gonna agree with Nick because he was like, he's a company man, he's financially stable probably.
Mm.
Kitano's kind of like a loose cannon, but he's hot, so I also want to bang him, obviously. Come
That's a good
on.
point.
But like, yeah. But now that I remember, the novel one is a rapist. I'm not convinced
Oh.
anymore.
Didn't know that.
He's a bit more sadistic where Kitano's just a sad boy, and maybe I think Beat Takeshi's so cute that I'm just like I just want
He's
to
cute.
like lay on my chest and I can just like hold him and be like it's okay. I know your daughter doesn't talk to you anymore, but
Yeah, but he's a horrible father. I don't know if I would marry him, but he's not a rapist.
yeah,
So
yeah.
He has cookies.
Well, they're all villains. They're not. That's true. Yeah, he does have a good. Yeah, he's got the good taste in cookies. if I does any I can keep rolling with my notes, or if anybody wants to kind of take over, or I feel like I've been talking a lot, but I do
think
have
it's
plenty of
smart
notes.
that you
but
kind of like keep some sort of topics going, just so that like
no,
we
that's
don't
fair.
go off too much already.
Keep us rolling.
I wasn't talking about that fuck Mary Kill game, and we didn't need to like turn that into a long thing. Anyways. But okay, I'll say I guess we haven't really like gone down like the storyline of the movie yet, but near the beginning is what I think is probably the best scene in the movie is the classroom scene. And maybe that's because Kitano's there, and I think that he's great. But just another example of I think the really strong direction in the movie is like I love scenes with a lot of people. I've talked about this whenever we talk about Akira Kurosawa or Bong Joon-ho because I think those are two directors that are great at doing this too, where you have like literally 42 kids in the class, and then you have Kitano, and then you have all the soldiers, although the soldiers don't really have as much to do, obviously. But like everybody's it's like blocked and staged really well, and it's really dynamic and a great example. The reason that I wanted to highlight it specifically is I think it's a great example of what I'm talking about with like separating the book from the movie, because the book, and I think the manga does this too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the book it's a little more stable, a little more organized. Like I think they're just kind of like sitting at their desks, and
Yeah,
You just-
they're all sitting at their desks, kind of like how they're placed in the classroom, like their actual
Alphabetical
classroom.
order.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he just Sakamochi or Kamon just explains it to them himself. He's just like, this is the rules, and like,
Yeah.
and he does that somewhat in the movie, but again, translating to a new medium, I think that would be boring if they did it that way in the movie. So what they do is, we're gonna play a videotape for you, and then you have the video girl who's like a really like iconic scene from the movie is the girl on the videotape being like all the little like the super like stylized like cutesy like I love her when she does like the collar exploding and all the little.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it reminded me of like Starship Troopers, like one of those
Oh, sure,
propaganda
yeah.
videos that they would have, just like taking something that's really dark and morbid and being
Mhm.
like, this is actually awesome and fun, and you should look forward to doing this. And it's like, yeah, I'm in a studio right now. I'm not in any danger, but you guys are, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah,
like it's like a
that's good
propaganda
comparison.
film almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then outside of that, they're not just all sitting in chairs. They're standing and moving around. There's a lot more there's just a lot more motion in it because it's a motion picture, you could say. I like talking about this scene in particular as an example of like how I think the movie does a good job at translating it to make it fit more, and I know that like it's more character stuff, and like leaving out stuff is like a lot of the issues that you and other fans have, but it's got that stuff too that I think is cool.
I do like seeing them together, kind of like in a huddle almost, because you don't see them together as a group all that
Mhm.
much. I do wonder if there was like any thought to which characters were together in the classroom, because it seems pretty random if you know like the friendships from the books and stuff.
Right,
So
yeah.
I would have liked seeing maybe the groups that are groups together more, but you see it a little bit, like Yuki's group, the Lighthouse
Sure.
Schools, like they're together in the corner, and like Mitsuru's group start off together in the corner, like,
Mhm.
and then they all kind of mix up. I don't know. I also really like the classroom scene. It's probably my favorite. I enjoy seeing them all together before all hell
Yeah.
breaks loose. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool that you get like that little moment. You get a little bit of that with like if you watch the extended cut. Did we all watch the extended cut? That has like
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I think that's the one that
Basketball
I found.
scene.
yeah, it has like
Yeah,
the cut,
yep.
the flashbacks to the so you get a little bit of that stuff, which I think is mostly good. The one thing is like the requiems at the end. It's so weird that they decided to tack those on, like because it's
Especially
because
because it's like I already saw
flashbacks.
those scenes. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, I saw this.
Yeah. The only new information is the like Noriko's dream, where it's her and Kitano like walking on the beach and there's dialogue, because otherwise it was like
Yeah.
silent before. But it's still
Yeah.
weird to like put that at the end of the movie, because like it really feels like here's some like deleted scenes and we're just gonna pop them in at the end there. Other than that,
Was
though,
that
I think the
supposed to like
director's got this
recontextualize the character to show that he had like a soft spot for these kids and wasn't just like a strict, like kind of sadist about it?
cool. No, I mean you already know that he has a soft spot for Noriko.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, there's a part where he brings her the umbrella. He paints the picture
Right.
of her and
Right,
stuff.
right.
And also, she does say that it's a dream that she had. She doesn't say like that she remembers a moment with him. But I'm not sure how you
yeah,
want
that's
to
true. That is
interpret
true.
it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I assume it's a dream, but like it's kind of like it could have happened as well. I don't know.
Yeah, it is very dreamlike in the sense that like, yeah, I was with this guy on a beach and we were eating popsicles and we took a walk. It's like a very specific, nonsensical situation that you would find yourself in.
Yeah.
I almost think it says more about her than him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Like more about
Actually,
her
yeah.
being able to be like, oh, he's also in this situation, even though he's the one with power in it, just because she's so wholesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that maybe Noriko's like the most mature, or like can think of people in a more nuanced way than the rest of her classmates, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because in the fiction, in like the story, the idea is that is it like Japan's economy crashes, something happens
They won World War
where
II.
like the
In the novel, at least. I don't know if does the movie say
Oh.
that it is?
I
It's
don't
a little
know.
more vague in
'Cause
the movie.
They still call it Japan because in the novel it's like the Greater Republic of East Asia, but like they don't
Yeah.
rename it in the
Oh.
novel or in the book, or oh my gosh, they don't rename it in the movie. So I don't know if you're supposed to interpret it the same way as World War II going differently, but best guess.
It
Interesting.
says
Yeah.
that like unemployment rates are up by like a lot, and like
Yeah.
youth have kind of lost their way, I guess.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to
Being
say
bad.
in the novel, it's like Battle Royale has been happening since like the 50s or something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it seems more recent. I don't know. That's one of my gripes with the movie, is that like it's kind of confusing and like how, because you get the thing early with like the, you know, Mai at the beginning, the winner of like the previous one, and there's the news broadcasts and all this, and then oh, here's the winner of this year's Battle Royale, blah blah blah. And then obviously Shogo's a former winner too, so there's at least been a few, and yet when this starts, all the kids in the classroom in the movie are like, what is this thing? I've never heard of this thing before. It's like, shouldn't you know about it?
Yeah, because again, in the novel, like when they say, like when Sakamochi says that they've been selected, like somebody like immediately screams because they all know what it is, and it's mentioned that like someone has had family in the program before, like a cousin. But here they all kind of just blankly stare at Kitano.
Yeah.
I have seen the argument though that it is kind of to show just how detached like the teens are, like they don't really pay attention to anything going around.
Sure.
Going on around them.
I like that take. Yeah.
I like the idea they're all just like, yeah, right.
Sure.
I mean, really, they're really defiant until he throws the knife at Fumio's head, you know, and then they're like, oh shit, okay,
Great
this is
scene.
real. Yeah. all the like armed soldiers were like not convincing enough, I guess. They're like, what is this? Some kind of field trip? We all got drugged on that bus. This is normal, right? Like, it's kind of funny that like, yeah.
You think this is the first bus trip I've taken where I've woken up from being drugged?
Yeah.
I will say, so like the classroom scene where they're kind of like laying out the rules of everything, or kind of like they're watching the video of like what they're about to do. I feel like this is like kind of a make it or break it moment for, I guess, if you're like going to like buy into the movie, because this is like it's like the most like visual representation of anime I feel like I've seen, where like all of the characters are just like throwing themselves at each other, like the way that like one character will freak out about something and he'll run and try to like grab onto someone and then I'll push him away. Like the choreography and the blocking is great, but it's like it has that heightened sense of like action, the way that like I feel like, I don't know, I don't watch a lot of anime, so I could be off base here, but like everyone's emotional state is like up here. They're all yelling each other's names constantly. And it's like, if you can't buy in there, I don't think you're gonna like the movie. And in this case, for this one, I was like, I feel like I get what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm buying into this. It's like hyper dramatic.
Yeah, sure.
But it's it's like to a greater point, or it's like it's not like just a fluke, I guess.
I mean, I will say the acting in general probably isn't the best either. You kind of have to overlook the campiness of it all.
It's very campy. Yeah.
I like campy in certain situations. So it's like this one, I'm like, okay, this is campy in a good way. I like this.
Yeah, that is true. It's funny because like I think maybe it's just like a cultural thing, but like it doesn't necessarily seem to read as campy from the jump in the way that like an American movie would. But you're right, it totally is, and maybe that is kind of the key to it. Where if it was like taking itself too seriously, then you would be nitpicking more some of the performance choices. But I think that's another reason that like Beat Takeshi was such a good choice for Kitano, because I think he fits that sort of like campy, serious like vibe so well. Like, because I think he's great in the movie. I love his performance.
Yeah.
He's an old, you know, he's a good like reliable older actor that I'm sure they were like, yeah, we got this guy, we're good. We're gonna get people in those seats. Where's he gonna go with that? The one that is a little bit too much is Shuya. He does kind of like the main character, Nick.
Yeah.
Because he does do a lot of that screamy cry acting a lot, and I'm like, okay, dude, chill. But
he is
gives
so brooding
anime-
in the second movie.
yeah.
Kusaka! Yukiko! Is it true? You answer me! Kusaka!
Stop or you're next. Come on.
Go wherever you like! You're a murderer anyway! They were my friends! This is nuts! How can you all just kill each other like that?
He gives anime protagonist energy. But
Yes.
he's not in an
Yeah.
anime. And like no one told him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like he's one of the few with like actual acting experience as well, like as well as some of the
That's
other main
wild.
characters, I guess. But I don't know, maybe if the others had more scenes, they would also reveal themselves to be
Yeah.
as bad.
That's wild, man. I mean, and I don't know about you guys, but I do think that like some of the kids I think are great too. I don't think it's just
Yeah.
all the kids are bad. Like I think that Takako or Chiaki Kuriyama, who plays Takako, yeah, the tracksuit. I love her scene, like when she's pulls the knife on Nita, and that
She's so good.
what is she's like every ounce of me will resist you, or something like that, or whatever. It's really good.
Yeah.
She's really great there.
相手になってあげる私の全存在をかけてあんたを否定してあげる
'Cause I know that you have some gripes with this too, but I love Shibasaki, god damn it, as Mitsuko in this. I love her performance. I think she's so
I think-
good.
I think she does a good job. I just don't really like all
The character.
the changes to the character. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
I think she does a really good job.
Yeah.
As the character.
I love like there's the shot where she shows up at the shed at night, the flashlight. That's another
Smile.
good, like
So
it's so
good.
like campy, but like yeah, she turns the flashlight at herself, and that smile that she gives her is so good.
I just
and then
can't believe
just-
Megumi let her in. I'm like, is this not
Yeah.
Red
a red
flag.
flag to you? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, she likes Shinji, so Girl loves
Yeah.
a red
yeah,
flag.
true.
Double red
Yeah,
flag.
she doesn't have the best taste, yeah. And then when she like later on when she gets like more and more like ferocious, like I love her like when she like her fight against Kazuo, I think she's great in. And then again another example of like really great like I think of all these amazing shots of like specifically when children are being killed, but I love the tracking shot behind Kazuo as he just shoots her repeatedly, and the camera's like pushing in on her, like she like keeps getting up and trying to like swing at him again, and he just keeps shooting her, and the camera keeps moving towards her, and then she falls in the water, and you get that cool shot of like her and the two others like just laying in the water there as the text comes on screen. And then Kazuo is another choice, obviously extremely different from the novel. Maybe the single
Booing
biggest
starts.
change. I don't know if there's any other character who's as different as Kazuo is.
No.
I don't know. It's definitely the biggest change.
But again,
Most controversial decision.
yeah, right. Separating him from the novel, I also really like his performance in the movie. I like the Masanobu Ando. I like his.
Yeah.
I like the take. It's wild when you read the book that it's like, why did they change
Get to
him
this point.
so
Yeah,
much?
why?
What inspired them to make him this way?
It undermines the point.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm just saying that like I guess I try to take it for like what it is, and I'm like for
Yeah.
what we got. I like the performance, and I like the character. It would have been really cool to see if they had done it like the book, but since they didn't, I like it.
Like, I respect the acting choice, I think, for what he was given.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he pulls it off. I just think that was a terrible choice.
He actually
Yeah, I think-
performs his own role in the English dub.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
I didn't know that. Also,
Oh, because wait, he doesn't talk.
Yeah,
Damn it.
yeah.
oh, duh.
I was like, it took me a
He
second.
chews gum.
Yeah, he does the in the microphone.
does
He goes the
Yeah.
or in the megaphone. I mean.
Nick, do you know the major difference?
I was gonna say, yeah, we can explain it to him now.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
any
yeah.
of you guys can if you want.
I'll take it.
I didn't know if we should. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Or, yeah, I'm like, it's spoiler okay?
Yeah.
Well-
yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah.
He
Okay.
ends up in the same place at the end
Yeah.
of the book.
Yeah, so
As does
basically,
everyone else. And,
Yeah.
in the novel, he doesn't have any feelings. So he
Mhm.
flips a coin to decide whether he's going to even play the game or not.
Yeah.
Which, to me, is great
Oh.
because it helps with the point that none of the kids are evil. This isn't like an evil kid versus the good kids. Like, they've all been put in this situation.
Right,
No one's a
yeah.
monster. So, he flips the coin and decides to play. Versus, movie where it's just like, I want to play and murder everyone for reasons.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess
in
you
the
should say
novel
too.
as well, he's not a transfer student. So, like, that's
Yeah,
another.
He's just in their
He's
class.
the leader of
yeah.
the gang. He's the leader of the
Yeah.
gang of delinquents.
Yeah, all those kids that first scene of him where he's like on the beach and they're like taunting him, remember? And then he steals their machine gun and he kills like 4 or 5 of them right there. That's actually in the book. That's like his group of friends.
Oh.
And he that's where he like flips the coin and he's like, okay, I'm gonna play, and then
Yeah, and it's through one of their point of view when he does that. So you
yeah,
get to feel that horror as they find out, or as the one kid finds out,
Yeah, it's a really cool scene.
oh, he doesn't feel anything. He's never really been a friend.
yeah, that's a
Sorry.
good
It's
one.
like
It's such
in
a
the
good
novel,
scene.
it's like it's like the first time you see that betrayal of someone you really thought was your friend, and
Yeah, you're right.
that
yeah.
meant so much to you. So even trying to separating the novel from the movie, I just think it's a weak choice in general to make that kind of the main villain, having it be a transfer student who doesn't know them, because that takes away so much of the point.
Yeah, and the horror
So,
aspect.
So like, I respect the acting. I think acting's good, fine. But like the character itself, even separating the mediums, I'm like, it's just not the best villain option for me.
No, I'm hearing all of what you guys are saying, and I'm like, you guys make some good points. I wish that I could be as upset as you are, but I'm like, but I have that in the book, and I'm like, I don't know. I love him in the movie. I love him in the book too, and they are completely different. And yeah, so I feel you, I hear you, but I hold a completely different opinion.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah, I can kind of see that point where in the movie there's like, I don't know, he becomes less of like a person and just like he's
like a monster.
A caricature.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
also like
Yeah.
looks different than all of them. Like
Yeah.
this is like that like anime
very
thing where it's like
anime, yeah.
his hair is just
Yeah.
like huge and like he's like he has red hair, which I feel like is unconventional.
Mhm.
He like literally looks different than everybody else. So it's just like, and then like like you said, he doesn't speak at all. Really, he's just sort of like, I like killing because it's fun, and
Yeah.
I'm crazy because I look different than everybody else, and I'm just Yeah,
He
I think some of that characterization could have been interesting.
Totally, for like, if you're talking about like the message of the novel, sure. Like, because I mean, something that I think of kind of related to this is, have you guys read Lord of the Flies?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the 90s? It's like the 1990 or 1991 like film adaptation
Believe so.
of it.
Yeah.
It's the one in color. There's only
Yeah.
2 of them, and one
Okay,
was black
yeah.
and white. And I think that's how I like how you guys are talking about like his character in particular. Is like how I think of that as just like completely destroying the message of the novel. But the difference is I think that movie sucks. Like, regardless of that, I'm like, I think the movie's bad. Whereas like, I think the thing with me is like, if it changes something from the book, but it's still like good and entertaining and I like it, I think I'll still like it. It sucks when they change something integral like that, and then, you know, if this movie sucked, regardless of how close or far it was from the, you know, if this was like verbatim, like down to the sentence, like exactly like the book, but the acting was worse, or it like didn't have the right tone that this has, or like it was shot poorly, you know, I would be like, yeah, but it's not a good movie. They didn't do it good.
Yeah.
Because I guess I should say, in that adaptation of Lord of the Flies, they change it from like a British boarding school to a military school. So all the kids are like juvenile delinquents, kind of like this. They kind of do this in the second Battle Royale movie too. But where it's like the whole fucking point of Lord of the Flies is that it's like these prim and proper like British lads who get turned into savages. Where it's like there's no message if they're already like delinquents and they're already violent kids. So in a sense, it's kind of like where you're talking about how it's just like in this, it's like it's supposed to just be anybody. It can happen to anybody. These are just normal people. It's not somebody that literally signed up for it, and they're just like, yeah, that's fair, right? Yeah, we're just gonna let people do this.
It also just takes out.
I think it's like
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say it's like a saving grace that it's just Kazuo, and like I know Shogo is a transfer student as well, but he didn't like really talk to anyone anyway, so it didn't really matter that much. But it's just Kazuo who is changed in that manner, so there's still like betrayal and friends killing friends, so it doesn't like lose its whole impact.
Sure.
But if they were all like random 42 kids from like different schools, it would be like that would ruin the whole point of the movie.
Well, that's then you get Hunger Games, and that's why it's like that's not quite as like impactful as like the Battle Royale like novel is, because it's like, well, they don't know each other. So like, I mean, yeah, it's sad that they're obviously like put into the situation still fucked up, but it's like it is more of a thing like if you know the people, obviously, if you're friends, and this is a lot more like, you know, think you put yourself in their shoes and like, oh man, what if I had to do that with my friends or my class, or you know, whereas again, like Hunger Games, just like random people that you've never met before.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where so much of the horror comes from in Battle Royale versus a lot of the other death game media. It's, you know these people, even if you weren't friends with them, you've known them for years. And there's also that aspect of like being surprised that, oh, so-and-so will turn on me and do this. And so... Yeah, that's one of the things I've always really appreciated about Battle Royale is it gives you that kind of horror, which I don't think shows up a lot in like the other death game media of, you know, it being someone you know well or you see every day.
Yeah, like that unique psychological aspect or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the movie does a pretty good job of like also showing like different, like, you know, that this like pressure cooker of a situation. Yeah, you see how different people respond. Like I feel like at the beginning there's like the one kid with like the crossbow who just like completely loses his mind. He's just like, he doesn't like trust anybody. Like there's like, you know, people form factions, people go out solo. I loved I loved the group that was like, they found computers and they were
my boys.
We're like, all right, we're gonna like, I'm gonna figure out how this technology works. And then they figure out that they're being listened to. And so he's like, oh, he starts typing like, they're listening to us. I need you to find me this, and that. And it's like, I liked that aspect where it's like, yeah, you could just have like, you know, like a typical like, you know, Fortnite or like Hunger Games where it's just like, everybody versus everybody. We're just killing each other, like, you know. But yeah, I like that some groups just like formed different little factions. But then it's like, and then you throw in the wild card of this like someone else finding your group, and they're like, oh well, I don't want to do that. I just want to kill because that's the only way to win this thing. There's like, you know, yeah, it's really good at like putting you like, what would you do if you were on an island with your friends? Like, would you try to like, you know, us versus them? Like, hey, we're put into the situation and it sucks, so we're gonna figure out a way to like rise up against like the teacher, the military, or whatever, you know, and to figure out that way. So yeah, that was an interesting element, and I'm glad that they showed different like schools of thought of just like,
yeah,
like, you know, different little factions, and then like the wild card kids that kind of meander their way through and just kind of like muck up the gears of like everyone trying to figure out their way of their way out of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. They got hacked, and he's just like, well, turn it off and turn it back on again.
I like the
I was like, oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, there is of course there's a little bit more into like that aspect of those characters, like the hacker characters or whatever in the book, and like how he like knew how to like do all that stuff or whatever. But yeah, their dynamic's great too. I like
it's like smoking cigarettes, just like
it's like a little bit of like levity too, you know. It's like, even though, you know, they're still in the death game, it's like it's a little bit more optimistic. It's a little bit more cheery because they think that they're gonna save everybody or whatever, and obviously, you know, in the end they don't. But it is a little bit nice, like, break from the kind of misery of the rest of it. And that was something that really surprised me with like the novel version, is like how they don't make it like nearly as far. I was like, because they're in the movie, it's like right at the end, but the novel, it's like halfway through they die.
Yeah.
And that's what the novel is such a great read too, because like what like Peyton was talking about earlier, that how it like puts you in the shoes of the people and like puts you in the you know, their lens to like view the horror of it all. Is, I think what I love about that the most is that how it's like nearly every character, every student, I should say, gets like at least a chapter, you know. They get a chapter that focuses on them, and then they might, you know, it might end and it's like, and then they walked off and blah blah blah, and then you cut to somebody else, or they might die at the end of it. So it's a really good, you're like reading like, and it's really tense because you're like, oh, is this person gonna die this one, or do they get to, you know, do they get to keep going? Because there's other certain characters like Sho, who's in the movie, he's in that group of characters that just dies on the beach near the beginning, the ones that Kazuo machine guns. But he makes it a lot farther.
He's so cool.
He doesn't meet them there because he's suspicious of Kazuo, so he doesn't meet them there, and he actually lives a lot longer. And it's really fun, like reading and just kind of not knowing. Like, I feel like if I didn't know the movie so well, you would almost like, you'd be reading the Shuya chapters and you're like, okay, well, when is he gonna die? Because everybody else is so, everybody's fates are so uncertain that it really makes it like you don't know who's gonna live, who's gonna die. And also, like, it's told from like first person perspective, more or less, so each chapter is like you're in a different state of mind. Like when you're following like Oki, who's, you know, he's one of the guys that kind of loses it, or Yoshio, who's the crossbow kid at the beginning.
Yeah,
it's like the writing is all like frantic and crazy and like, you know, they're gonna get me, blah blah blah. And then, you know, other characters are a bit more, you know, Kazuo's are very like just straight lace, like no dramatization of it. It's very just like put you in their shoes very well. I really like that about the book. I'm gonna say that. That's something that the books can do that the movies can't do, you know.
yeah.
No, without a lot of painful voiceovers.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, we could do that, yeah. Oh, I meant to say this one said something shit talking kids before. So I thought I had this time when he's reading off the you know, the forbidden zones, you know, that at 11 o'clock these ones are Iroko. And they're like, okay, bring, and they break out their compasses and their maps and stuff. I was like, could kids this is what I mean, I'm gonna sound like such an old person, but I'm like, I think kids these days could even like fucking read a compass anymore.
No,
I could do that.
That's how I'd die.
No, I'd be dead. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
they'd be so screwed.
Like, unless there's like signs everywhere being like, this is zone blah blah, I'd be so screwed.
Yeah. They'd have to have an app or something nowadays.
I mean,
Oh
that
God,
makes me
don't give
think
him ideas.
back, way back in 2011, we went out to the dunes up in Michigan, and
Right.
this was like smartphones were a thing, but they weren't really like everybody had one in their pocket, type of thing. And we go out into like this huge park, essentially like big Sleeping Bear Dune place, and our phones die. And literally, like, I feel like we were using the stars to get back to the parking lot.
Probably, yeah.
It's like, nowadays it'd just be like, oh, just open up Google Maps, easy.
Yeah.
But like my phone, like I think it was like a dead zone too in terms of like cell phone
Probably,
service.
yeah.
So it was like roaming or whatever. So my battery just died really, really quickly, and so we were just like, oh shit, we're out in like the middle of nowhere. And like literally, we looked up and was like, okay, well, I think that's the North Star, so we gotta go this way. So hey, maybe we would have done okay.
Yeah, maybe we would have done okay. Yeah, except that like the whole reason we were there is because I didn't realize we were in a completely different location than where I thought we were. So, maybe.
Yeah, the central conceit still remains that we were in an area that we didn't think we were in or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, a theory I had too about like them having the transfer students, which technically Shogo is a transfer student in the novel too, but not like when the game starts. He was like a
earlier.
transfer student like the year before or whatever. But I was like I was trying to like figure out like why they did that, and I'm like, is the rules like we have to have 42 kids in the game? So if any of the classes like are short a couple students, we just like we pick some volunteers to come in or something like that. Because what are the chance? Like, because then that means that they only had 19 boys in that class, but they're like, yeah, well, per Battle Royale rules, it's got to be 42. So I don't know.
Like an even number of boys and girls.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a thought I had when I was watching it.
Yeah, like is it that or just we have to make sure someone will kill, so we always throw in a couple.
Maybe. That is totally possible. That's their the government's cheeky way of being like, yeah, they're just here. They're transfer students, but they're plants to get the game.
So no one can just sit and say kumbaya.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they can't anyway because of the time limit. But yeah.
Yeah.
But then they just all explode. How much fun is that?
Yeah, it's not fun at all. I was thinking maybe they made them transfers just to kind of. Well, they didn't explain it, but to excuse like the fact that the actors are like in their 20s, so they would be like older maybe as characters as well.
Yeah,
these guys are super seniors. They've been held back a few grades.
See, maybe that comes to the delinquency. You fail 7 grades, and they make you be in the Battle Royale.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah, that was the one because I think most of the kids are like were around the age or like in high school, but those two were like 25 or something like that. I know Taro Yamamoto I think was 25.
Yeah, I think he says like in one of the behind the scenes that he thought he was getting a call back to play the teacher and not the role of Shogo.
That's funny. Which actually I read about him recently, just when I was looking on the wiki for the page, and he so in like 2011 after the Fukushima nuclear incident, he like quit acting to like go into politics, and he recently started his own his own what do you call like party in Japan. It's an anti-establishment left-wing political party, Reiwa Shinsegumi. And I was like reading about their policies and like his role and like all the like advocating and protesting that he's done. I'm like, he's basically like Shogo. Like that's the person that he has turned into. This anti-establishment like kind of radical like punk dude. And I'm like, he sounds fucking awesome.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Love to see it.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm reading his Wikipedia. In 2023, Liberal Democratic Party lawmakers physically held Yamamoto back as he attempted to fling himself at members' desks to block an anti-refugee bill in the House of Councilors.
Oh my
That's
god,
right.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So like
he's so cool.
literally just like doing like physical like disruptions of like I don't know. Like there's because like
That's
we
what I mean,
talked
like,
about
yeah.
because
As
like
he
we did like the Emperor's Naked Army, that documentary a couple years ago for the pod, where it was like he was literally like this old guy was trying to get answers for like World War II war crimes, and he would go around and like find old generals, and if they
And, like,
wouldn't
beat
answer
the
him,
shit
he would like wrestle them to the ground. He's like an old dude.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was
And
this
then-
was a documentary of like a real dude. Yeah.
And then, like, you know, a few years ago, what's his face? Like Shinzo Abe, who was like this right winger in Japan,
Oh yeah.
got like blunderbussed by some guy on the street. Because like I think there's like really, really strict gun control laws in Japan.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like this dude was just like, I don't like the cut of your jib. Like this like hard right winger like politician. And so he like made his own gun out of like the piecemeal made a gun and like blasted this dude. And it's like, I don't know, sitting in America, maybe we need some some political parties like the one that
Taro.
Yamamoto. Taro's a part of.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, for real.
I keep having that thought. I'm like, someone's got to do it eventually. Someone's got to do something, right? That's our safe for YouTube. Just vague enough to not get us in trouble. Someone should do something.
Yeah.
Maybe we need congressional battle royale, but I guess that wouldn't really work because everyone in our government is like 70 or 80 years old, so it'd just be a bunch of geriatric guys on an island.
Even better.
No,
That'd
that
be
makes it more
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about it.
Yeah.
I'll fund that right now.
I want to see the realistic battle royale where, unlike this, where like every kid just automatically knows how to use a gun, and like half of the people that go into the American battle royale just end up like shooting their own faces off because they're like, is the safety off?
Yeah, terrible trigger discipline.
Well, I mean, I kind of started talking about it. So if you guys wanna, I'll unclasp the leash or whatever if you want to go into the novel stuff. If we want to dive
really-
into that now, yeah.
We haven't really stayed away from it.
Yeah, I'm like, we
Well, not totally.
didn't do a
but,
great job.
I don't know. I guess I'm just no. I mean, I think I guess if like since that was the thing that you guys were kind of asking before we got on about like how much we have to stay on topic, I would say so far it's been a pretty normal like movie discussion, like how we kind of veer off a little bit. But I don't know. Is there any other stuff about it that you know? Or like if you wanted to like go more into detail on like aspects, certain characters and whatnot that really grind your gears
About
Either
the
of you.
movie, or like,
well, I mean, or like
comparison.
compared to the novel and stuff like that.
Mm.
Or is it just kind of the general conceit of like they leave out a lot of character
It's not
moments?
even just that they leave out. It's some things they choose to add that doesn't even. It's just strange choices. Because one thing is leaving things out because I understand that a movie can't be 10 hours. They have to do some cuts. But then they make some strange changes, like with Noriko. They remove her from her friend group and have her be this like bully victim, randomly bullied in the
That's
bathrooms
right,
by
yeah.
like Yoshimi and Mayumi and Fumio, which is like the most random group of 3 people as well. But
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, that's
But
a good point.
I don't understand why she couldn't just stay like a normal girl with friends. Because Nick in the novel, she's friends with like the lighthouse girls. Like they're kind of like
Okay.
the neutral group of girls. And in the movie, I guess she's given Megumi, which is random as well, as like a best friend,
Mhm.
and then is like a victim of bullying. I guess maybe it's a way to like sympathize for her, but you just sympathize with her anyway because she's in this horrible situation and she's just a normal teenage girl who's trying to survive. So you didn't really
Yeah.
need to do that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like Mitsuko as well. Like at least in the basketball scene, they had her looking like lonely and sad as everyone
Yeah.
celebrates without her. And in the novel again, like she has like a group of girls, like Hirono, the one that confronts her in the movie as well with a gun that Mitsuko ends up shooting.
Mm.
And then Yoshimi, which is the girl who hangs herself with her boyfriend in the movie.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in the novel, Mitsuko kills her.
Yeah.
They're like a trio. And making Mitsuko kind of like the outcast who wanted to belong with the class was, I get as well, like a way to sympathize with her, but she already has this horrible past. Like, you don't need to add that. I don't think she wanted to belong with these losers. You know, I think she was fine not being their best friend.
Yeah.
It's like those weird changes instead of keeping in actual scenes that would have developed a character, like Mitsuko with Yuichiro.
Yes.
Like in the movie with Yuichiro and Tadakatsu, you just see Mitsuko in a flashback walking away from them. They're the ones who are like naked and covered in blood, and she leaves. Like it's Yukie who tells Shui about it in the lighthouse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In the novel, there's a few chapters where she spends time with them and interacts with them and has like a real emotional moment with Yuichiro, who actually sees beyond like her bad girl facade and is like, I can tell you more sad than anything. Like they have such a good moment, and keeping that in instead of random loner Mitsuko would have been so good.
Humanizes her so well.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe this is telling more about like again my separation thing that like I think because Kazuo is so different, it's like they didn't even try doing the same character. I'm like, okay, well they left out some of his chapters, whatever, that's fine. But I think because Mitsuko is closer to her book counterpart, that like leaving out that scene with Yoshiro, god damn it. Leaving out the scene with him, I'm like, yeah, that does suck. Because she is like her character, and like that does feel like that would like expand on her character in the movie more. But they chose to leave that out. That like, yeah, that would have been a really good scene to leave in. Yeah.
Their interactions are like one of my favorites again because it goes like it's about the trust and the betrayal as well, with the Tadakatsu and Yuichiro who have known each other since like what's it called, elementary school. And then Tadakatsu doesn't trust Mitsuko and Yuichiro does. And it's just the dynamic is really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because it's one of my favorite scenes or like chapters that I really miss it, but I think it would have been great.
Yeah, and I think that's
and plus, like you said.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say.
I talk too much.
Feel like I do too, but I guess that's one of the saddest things is some of the most dramatic like friendship betrayal scenes get left out. Like I think the Shinji Yutaka and Kita trio in the movie is good and it breaks up, like you said, it kind of gives you a little humor. But in the book, like that is one of the most emotional scenes for me because instead of them being together from the beginning, Shinji and Yutaka are together from the beginning. And then when Kita shows up, Yutaka is like, oh, let's trust him. But Shinji, who's running on no sleep, is like, this one time he didn't help me against muggers and we can't trust him, Yutaka, we can't. No, but he doesn't tell Yutaka that. He's just like, I will shoot him to protect. And it's just like watching the character who at the beginning had like the most skills to live just have a complete breakdown and fuck them. Can I say that? Can I say that? I hope I can.
Yeah.
Good.
Have I not sworn yet? This episode?
I couldn't remember if anyone had dropped the F-bomb yet. I was like, oh no, am I going to get bleeped? Get their video taken down?
No.
Okay. But no, so like, it's just some of those moments of like friendship betrayal that Obviously, I
Mm.
get why they didn't put that in the movie. That would have been a lot for side characters, but it's one of the most
Mhm.
emotional uh things in the book. So I'm like, rip to it,
Yeah.
but I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it honestly, it kind of sucks that like Shuya is the main character and the survivor because
Yeah.
he's like the least interesting character in the
For
book.
Yeah.
So it's like they have to sacrifice these better scenes that you guys are talking about because it would be weird in a movie if, you know, if Shuya like wasn't in it at all, you know. It's like he's got to be in it as much as he is because he's the main character and, you know, but yeah, if theoretically they could have like included those scenes but still, you know, have enough of Shuya to make him the main character, then that would have been cool, but yeah, I think it does all just come down to time because, you know, of course it would have been cool if they'd have just done this as a miniseries, you know. I don't even think it
Yeah,
has to
what they
be
should
like
do.
5 hours maybe. I feel like you could do the whole thing justice, something like that. It doesn't need to be crazy long, you know. Like a prestige HBO miniseries length thing, yeah.
There's some like scenes that they changed as well in the movie that I feel like they kind of like tease you with and then don't go all the way to I'm thinking about when Kaori and Mitsuo kill each other, which isn't in the novel. And again,
Right.
it's like Yuki and the lighthouse telling Shuya about a death or 2 deaths that happened. And it's
Mhm.
the girls' Nick where they've been fighting over this life vest and they're both kind of holding on to it. And then there's like a knife in one of them, there's
That's
back.
right. Yeah.
In the novel that doesn't happen, but it's another one where like they are friends, like in the classroom. They're like, "Oh, you'll always be my friend," before they leave.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to see like if they're gonna make that change into like a betrayal between them. I'd like to see more of like what happened.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
But again, time. Like I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have the like the focus on those scenes to see what actually happens to them, like in the book, it's just like it would seem like if they didn't show it how they did in the movie where it looks like they like, you know, betrayed each other or whatever, you'd just be like, wait, so these people killed each other too? So like half the class just like they all just like committed suicide, which I guess isn't totally unbelievable, but they do that with like Yoshimi and Yoji, like they just kill themselves. Sakura and I don't remember. Katsuhiko.
Yeah,
God, I was way off.
Well, his last name is Yamamoto, so
Yeah, okay,
that's
man,
probably what you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yes, yeah. We'll go with that. But then they just kill themselves too, and then and I mean some of them do because like they do. But that's the other thing is like in the movie, it's like the way that scene is acted, it makes it seem like
She pulls him.
Katsuhiko like doesn't really want to because he's kind of like, oh, I'm scared or whatever. But like in the book, it's a more like romantic, like, you know, yeah, we both agree like there's no point in doing this. We love each other. Let's do this together. But in the movie, he's like shielding his eyes and like no. But she like just pulls him in with her. And it's like, okay, that's not as nice.
Yeah, like again, everyone I was showing the movie to are like, did she just pull him? Like he did not wanna jump, did he?
Yeah.
Are those the two that were like dashed against the rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just see them like really quick at night, and they're just like, you know, we're not gonna play this game, and da da da. I'm through most of my notes. The only other thing I had is I like the little greeting that Kitano gives Noriko when he sees her in the rain. Like Mitsuko's got her gun pointed at her, and then she sees him and runs away, and then Noriko like spins around really quick, and she sees him, and he just goes, "Hey."
But why?
It's so casual.
Like that just seems like cheating.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I hate that scene. Like I guess his greeting is cute, but him just showing up there, like me and Peyton were watching the movie like a few weeks ago, and my husband kind of like watched it over my shoulder, and he saw that part, and he was like, "This is a dream, right? Like this is a dream. This is another dream." I was like, "No,
Feels
he's
like
there."
Yeah.
It is.
There's like
odd.
It's like
There's a few scenes with him that seem like unreality. Like at the near the end, even when like they shoot him a bunch and he's like laying there and they think he's dead. and then his phone rings, and he just like gets up, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh hey, real quick, hold on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta take this." He takes the phone call, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah," and then dies. I was like, was he wearing like a bulletproof vest? Was he like literally like plot armor? You know?
I think that was just that. I don't think that didn't happen, but I do think that that's just an example of that heightened reality thing. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, he shot him with like a submachine gun. Like, in
Yeah,
the
there's like a
chest.
few deaths I feel like where like, yeah, she gets shot up like 6 times, and she still gets up and is just like full on sprinting, and is like, dude, your like internal organs are bleeding. Like there's no way you're like able to run like that. But like I get, again, it's like a heightened sense of reality. So I wasn't like, that's not logical.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. I get what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry, go for it.
Nope. Go ahead.
No, it's just, I was going to say when Ida and I watched it, I forget which character it was, but I remember pointing out, like, I think this is the only character where one bullet shot killed them. And we were...
Oh, it's Kayoko when
Yeah.
Mitsuko
Yeah.
shoots her.
Yep.
Yeah, it takes one bullet, and everyone else in the class takes, like, 17.
Yeah. Well, in a way, Nobu is he's a one shot, Fumio's a one shot. Yeah, that's another good bit too. Like when she's like crying and saying like, "What do I do now?" and then Mitsuko just says, "Die." It's a good line.
I think I did notate that where like I was like, they literally just said, "Kill yourself, nerd."
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I love with that ending scene with Kitano, where he like pulls the gun on them, and he's like, you gotta shoot me if you're gonna shoot me, and then I think he like pulls the gun up like he's gonna shoot him, and then Shuya, and then he pulls it up and he shoots him, and it's a water gun.
Yeah.
And then he slumps over, and then when he gets back up and he gets on the couch, and his daughter calls, he gets angry. He throws the phone on the ground. And he pulls out a gun, and it's a real gun this time, and he shoots the phone, and then he just dies. And that's great.
That reminds me of I don't know if like you two might know this reference, but what is it? The end of Falling Down with Michael Douglas, where like he has that confrontation like on the pier, and he like goes to pull a gun, and it's a water pistol, and like he gets lit up, but he just like squirts a little bit of water.
Yeah. And that I guess we skipped over right shortly before, or no, I'm sorry, after that, obviously, because when Shogo dies, we get Nick, did you notice Shogo's death boner?
Did he have a death boner? I don't know if I caught that.
Oh, he sure does.
How did he act that? I don't get. What a great actor.
Had to have just been like a bad angle, right? Like,
You have to hope.
Like he's got a pants tent.
it's one of like when you notice it, but I don't know. It doesn't just look like a pants tent. It kind of looks like he has a boner.
You can't unsee it once you see it.
Yeah.
It's all I'm looking at when I watch that scene.
All right, it's the scene when he's like on the boat.
On the
Near the
boat,
end.
and he's got the cigarette,
Laying
and
down.
then he's
Oh my
See all
god.
three of them.
It looks like he fluffed himself up a little bit before like the scene ended. He's like, hold on, I'm gonna give him something to remember me by.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what happened. Like, is there something in there? Like,
I don't know. It's
that's probably like one of the most iconic scenes. I feel like that's one of the most talked about things from
Weirdly.
the movie.
is that's one thing that the movie does do better than the novel is you get to actually see Shogo's boner.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
'Cause in the novel, when he dies, the author does make sure to like notate very explicitly that he's got an erection. No, it doesn't.
Wouldn't that be wild?
That would be an insane choice at the very end. Is like,
Yeah. And
who
by
was,
the
by the
way,
way, hard as hell.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the manga did that.
oh, you're right.
I can't believe
Oh
the
my
manga left
God,
it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
What
I can't
restraint?
believe there's. I can't believe you don't see any of their dicks in the manga. Actually,
You see Utaka's
I
dick.
can't believe.
when,
Oh,
when he's peeing on those bullies.
oh yeah.
Yellow Death. It's so bad.
Don't you see Yoji's dick as well? But like when
Yeah,
he can't get hard?
You guys might
Yeah.
be right. I'm just talking about my ass. Maybe I'm just thinking you
Maybe
just
it's
don't.
blurred or like
you just don't get to
blank.
Maybe
I
you
think
just.
I think it's like that the like censored, like it's just like a white thing. or
Yeah,
whatever,
like a Ken
mean-
doll
Yeah.
thingy.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
why.
that's okay. Maybe I'm just thinking you.
This is why Playboy rated it 5 Playboy bunnies. That's real on the back of the
did
manga.
they actually with the manga?
Yeah, on the back of the manga,
It says on the
Playboy.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, they rated
Of
it
course they fucking would. Oh my
about
God.
a bunch of 15-year-olds.
I mean, it does sound exactly like the thing that like dudes who were reading Playboy in the early 2000s would like. They'd be like, "Oh, it's so fucking cool. This 16-year-old chick is so hot. She's fucking all these dudes." And
Oh my God.
While they're dying. Damn.
yeah.
Holy shit. Sorry, I'm looking it up.
Like the manga.
Which part?
I don't know.
You don't know
Maybe-
what you're looking
I
at.
don't know if this is it. Maybe it's a flashback. Are there like graphic sex scenes in the manga?
Yes.
Yeah, there are.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, the prostitution gets shown.
Yeah. There's a part where like a guy's like hallucinating. He's like driving his car and he's like hallucinating that he's driving it into Mitsuko's pussy.
I think I may have stumbled upon the wrong. This might be a
Alright.
fan made. I don't
No,
know.
wait,
Maybe
show it
it's
to us.
not. I don't want
No,
to.
yeah, send it.
Send it in the chat.
Manga decks? Is that like a smut? 100% illegal manga. You know, maybe this isn't it.
No, I
I
wanna.
want to know what you're
Yeah, I
looking
want to see
at.
it. I want
I
to
would
pick
see
it.
Oh, Jesus God. All right. Well, this is what I found.
This
The
sounds
picture
right.
looks like it, yeah.
It's like it starts out with like a girl and like a doll or something like
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Yep,
it's,
that's
it's so
right.
real.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Gee,
Sorry.
like the chapter
I'm so sorry you had to
63
see this.
traumatic games, and it's like, what the?
I don't even
Oh.
need to see the
Yeah,
photo. I
that's
know. I
correct.
know exactly what this is.
Yeah, it's the writing.
This is the
Yeah,
real
they're-
deal. This
that
is
is
not just
Magic Emily. Because why not?
Mhm, it's like Mitsuko's like alter ego that she escapes into, I guess.
Yes.
Her backstory wasn't tragic enough for the manga writers. They were like, let's make it worse.
Yeah.
that is insane to
Yeah, they're
take.
kind
Like
of traumatized looking at this.
I mean, it's just like the subject matter is just like, what's the like, you know, you're on this island with people that you know and love, your friends. Do you have what it takes to like kill them if need be? Like push comes to shove, you know, well, can you commit these barbaric acts of violence? And it's like, yeah, that's heavy. That's a heady idea. And then the manga is just like, yeah, but what if everyone had huge tits and was horny all the time? And it's just like, I feel like you're just, you're totally like destroying the entire message of the thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're like, horny as shit and you're like, yeah. But again, it's like they're middle schoolers. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And again, it's not really like mutual horniness most of the time. Most of the time, it's just like sexualizing Mitsuko and either like showing flashbacks of her with older men or like her trying to use her sexuality to like get out of situations because that's what she knows how to do in the manga. Like,
Yeah, like
Mhm.
I guess she
there's a
kind of
way
tries
of
in the novel as well, but
Yeah, even some of Yoshimi's stuff.
like, you
Right,
express
yeah.
that idea of just like, you know, desensitization, like that, like separating yourself from your body to get through like a traumatic situation. Again, there's intellectualizing like ways to do that, but
mhm.
that's just like jerk off material is what that is. Like,
Yeah. There is the one shot like later manga, Angel's Border. I really like that one.
I love
Much
that
better.
one.
That one's really
Oh,
yeah.
so amazing. Because that just fills in like the stories from like
Mhm.
the canon stories. Like I don't consider the stuff added in the other manga really canon, but
Yeah.
the Angel's Border just expands so nicely on some of the characters from the
Yeah.
lighthouse scene, Nick.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a I think maybe I mentioned it to you before that it's a one shot manga that it's the entire thing is just the lighthouse scene, but it like does like flashbacks for all the characters. So you get like a lot more of their backstory, and that one was also co-written by Takami, right? The novel's author. So it is like it is almost like it almost feels like fan fiction because it is like kind of just filling in like details about minor characters, but it's by the by the author.
Yeah,
it
it's
really
like it's more like legit, if you will. Like there's like some authenticity to it. Okay.
Yeah, there are
and
only
it feels a lot more like how it should be. Like that. Like I wish the manga was like written like that way, and like that'd be so much better. It'd be so much better. There's not much that you could do to not make it better. In fact,
so true.
It's not much you could do to make it worse either.
Yeah.
I really liked in the Angel's Border, since we're just talking about that as well, that it confirms like Haruka's feelings for Yukie, because that's always been like a really big fan theory. I don't know how all the fans picked it up, or like I didn't know, but then when I rewatched the movie, I was like, did this actress get told to play Haruka as gay? Because she's really on it. Like every time Yukie speaks, she looks at her like she's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
yeah.
Like, did somebody tell her something? Like how Alan Rickman was told about, Snape in Harry Potter? Is this like...
Oh, sure, yeah, maybe.
Haruka's actress went all out. Or maybe she just picked up the same vibes too if she did read the novel first.
She understood the assignment.
Yeah, maybe.
Some of the acting in the lighthouse scene is really good, and some of it is not. But like, I think Satomi does a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she does too. Yeah.
I think Yuki does as well. Like, I think Shisato is a bit... But like, generally, I think they all have like a really good dynamic. It's really fun to watch them play off each other. I don't know what you think about it.
That is probably the best example of that, like what you guys are saying, like that is taken away from the movie so much with like the friends betraying each other thing. That's probably the best example of that in the movie, I would think. It's the only one that they don't get rid of. Yeah. And it does have like a sort of a catalyst that causes that violence there, obviously, with Yuko poisoning the stew. But watching that, I'm like, well, I mean, Satomi was gonna snap at some point. Like, if it wasn't there, she was not going to wait the whole 3 days and just be hunky dory. She was gonna grab that gun sooner or later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then Shuya just kind of does what he normally does, and he's just kind of like, he's one of the most useless main characters, really, because he really just like kind of, all these other people have all these plans for like, this is how we're gonna win, this is how we're gonna like take this down. Shuya literally just lucks into surviving this, and he's like, to where like he's gonna get, Yuko's trying to poison him, and then it just happens, nope, somebody else ate it, and now they're all gonna die. And then he shows up and he's like, what happened?
All these girls fighting over me?
Well, probably.
It wouldn't even feel off.
I find it really funny. Like, in this whole scene, like, because when he first hears the gunfire, he's like looking at his nails, just looking so bored. And he looks up and he's like, huh? And then he's like with the coat hanger just slamming on the door, not even trying to like open it. He's just like repeatedly banging on it.
It takes
you guys
so
better
long.
not be killing each other in there.
Like, I'm gonna be really sad. Yeah, I'm gonna be really sad if you guys are killing each other. I don't like that.
Oh, that reminds me of another scene we didn't get that would have been so useless to add, but we didn't get the car chase.
Oh yeah, the car chase.
Okay.
Which feels so stupid to say.
It sounds like you made it up.
It really does. I always forget that that's a thing in the novel, even though like I remember it from the manga, but that feels like such a manga edition. Like of course they're gonna add that into that, but no, that was in the novel. Okay, I think maybe this isn't as hot of a take then that like I'm okay with them leaving the car chase out of the movie, because that's like that totally takes me out of the climax of the book. It's so weird.
That's fine. I am not okay with them having Shogo kill Kazuo instead of Noriko. It should be Noriko
should have been
in that
her.
movie as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. That's a different person kills him in each version of the story too, for some reason. Because in this it's Shogo, novel it's Noriko, and then manga it's Shuya.
Mm-hmm.
Strange. But yeah, in the novel, kind of in between, like in that final battle with Kazuo, there's a car chase. They get into cars and they like there's a car chase around the island before they kill him. So yeah.
I feel like in the manga this happens for like an entire like volume.
Oh
Yeah.
For sure.
It
For
goes
sure. It
on.
has to. Yeah. It can't
padding
not
time.
happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Padding time
This
in
is like
Peru.
other like random closing thoughts, but I really like how they casted these 42 kids and they were like, okay, we're done. We don't need any more kids. So like at the beginning of the movie, when the kids are all like skipping school, you see them in the hallway when Kitano is stabbed by Nobu. Like that's just the same kids. And I'm like, who skips school and then just hangs out in the hallway?
Yeah, that's a
Just
good
make-
point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because that's the whole like point of that scene or whatever. Yeah.
Also,
They probably just figured that nobody would look close enough to see that it's the same.
Yeah.
I can't get over the
Um,
fact that they had Nobu stab him, but yet he's not part of the delinquent group. Because that, once again,
It's
it's
just
not
a normal
Yeah.
kid stabbing his teacher.
it's not a novel thing. It's just like, why is he doing this? Is that a thing that they just do? Like if a kid stabbed
I
me
don't
at work,
know.
I'd be upset.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was less thinking about the character of Nobu and more thinking of the character of Kitano and being like, well, they like them thinking like writing the movie like giving him more of a reason to like hate their class or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because like he has this like vendetta against them in particular, obviously.
And I guess
so maybe that's
if,
why.
Make us sympathize.
if they had like, yeah,
Yeah. Sort
they
of.
couldn't just have Ryu or Hiroshi do it because then they have to give them lines and applause, and they didn't want to
Man,
do
I-
that.
It'd be so, wouldn't that be great if Hiroshi stabbed him? That'd be so good.
It was-
I would personally love that.
Maybe in the
Um,
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that watching this too. I'm like, they're talking about like how like bad kids are in Japan nowadays, and like how they need to be, how this needs to happen to like get them in line. But it's like I think maybe they just didn't like Kitano, because then you see them like on the bus with Mr. Hayashida, and the girls
They
are like
love him.
playing games with
Yeah.
him, and yeah, they love
It's
their
so
teacher.
cute.
It's just maybe Kitano is just kind of a jaded older teacher. I don't know. It happens.
And like Hayashida clearly loved them too. Like 'cause
Yeah,
he died
he did, yeah.
refusing to let them participate, like fighting against it. So,
Yeah, exactly. Which could just fuel into Kitano's like vendetta even more. He's like, oh, this guy was so great. Well, guess what? He's fucking dead now. Now I'm your only teacher.
I guess that's another thing with like it goes more onto the characters, and I get why they made this decision to show how awful teens are or whatever, but I'm like, there's no way like Kyochi and Satomi would skip school and just like not give a fuck.
Yeah, not all the kids, right?
Like
yeah.
you can't tell me Kyochi isn't showing up to class, but then he does like equations while trying to shoot
Yeah.
people on the island.
Yeah.
Like
I do
No.
like that reduction of his character, where like he gets that chapter or two in the book where he's just kind of like losing it, and he's like, well, you know, trying to figure out like the odds of like, this is if I do this, these are my chances of surviving, and blah 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 blah. And then in this, it just reduces him to like A plus B minus C squared. Like it's like, yeah, sure, you get the idea, I guess. You get the gist. He's a nerd. He's got glasses. Who
Yeah.
cares?
That's it.
The glass is all we needed to know.
Yeah.
I wish we'd gotten Oda and known how vulgar he thought
Yeah.
everyone was. I get,
Yeah.
I
that's
get why
another
we
Oh,
thing.
man.
didn't, but what if?
He is a great, he's a great minor character. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who just gets decapitated by Kazuo in the movie, and
Yeah.
then
A grenade in
Grenade
his
gets
mouth.
mouth.
yeah, stuffed with a
That
grenade.
shit rocked.
That was a cool.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that.
I do
Yeah.
really like when his head just gets thrown in the window and then it explodes.
Yeah.
But in the book, he's like this horrible little snooty, spoiled, rich
yeah, he
brat who
sucks.
just thinks so badly about everyone. But it's so funny when you read
Yeah.
it. Like, when you take him funny, it's funny.
Yeah. And he kills a couple people, doesn't he? He kills
kills
Hirono,
Hirono.
doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then he fights Hiroki, but it doesn't really go well for him.
Yeah.
He's not gonna play the violin anymore.
Like Hiroki as well. In this movie, he kind of just looks for Kayoko, and that's what he does. But in the novel, he has a few like good fight scenes. Like he fights Kazuo,
hmm
and he confronts Mitsuko.
Does
And that's another thing. I was thinking about this when you said that his line to Takako was pretty cool. When he goes, "You're the coolest girl in the world." I really
Mhm.
like in the novel when he talks to Mitsuko and she says something like, "Sorry, I killed your girlfriend" or whatever, and he's like, "She wasn't my girlfriend. She was my best friend," because it really also solidifies, their friendship.
hmm
and that
Which-
friendship matters. And
Yeah.
but does the movie even specify that he knows martial arts?
No.
I was just thinking,
I don't
like
think
that
so.
never
Yeah, no,
comes
he-
up, does it?
Because he doesn't do any sort of.
Yeah.
Move.
There's like no action at all with him. It is just walking around with the tracking device
He
or whatever.
spins around Kazu a little bit before he like jumps into the the water. I think he
yeah,
also
sure.
like has a stick with him, like when he's sleeping. But I don't know. He never uses it.
Yeah. All right. Good for scores now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We're pushing 2 hours, so now I'm having a little
Sorry.
pushy. It's fine. I'm just making sure I know it's like what was it like 3 a.m. for you now, Ida?
It's 3:30 soon. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So I'll start us off just as a ley line, I guess, for us. So I think this is like a slight. I like this might be like between two numbers, and I'm giving it the edge because of like my personal sort of, just like the love for the book, the fandom type stuff, like my, the RP stuff and all that. So I go with a 9 for this. I think it's really great. Again, I think there's so many greatly like directed scenes. I think despite what it does have to cut for time from the book, I think it's really well paced. There's like not really a dull scene. It just keeps moving, keeps going. And you do get a lot of good, even if they are just kind of like made whole cloth for the movie, a lot of good character moments. Like even Kitano, who's like completely different from the other versions. I love his performance in this. I like his character. It's good. It's I don't know. I'm trying to think of more ways to like summarize my thoughts, but I just like it. I got a lot of love for this thing, so it's a 9 for me.
Okay, I can
Everyone's
go next. Man, I'm kind of in between these two numbers. I'm going to say a strong 7 for me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And like its like impact and legacy on like the genre is massive. And yeah, especially contrasting it with the second movie, like the character deaths and the fight scenes all feel like impactful, and it's not just filler. Everything feels like it happens like for a reason. And again, I don't have the novel or the manga to like kind of compare and contrast to. So like for me, strictly speaking, as a movie, I really like the like those moments of like unreality where just like wild things are happening. A guy can take a body full of bullets and get up and like answer his phone, and I'm like, okay, no, I get this. I get what they're doing. Yeah, I think maybe if I had read the book and I knew about like the characters' relationships and how like the book defined those things more, I would have enjoyed it more. Or maybe if the movie had like kind of taken a bit more time to like explain some of like the relationships, especially like those characters that seem to be killed off unceremoniously, just like, yeah, these two hung themselves. That's all you really get to know about it. That's kind of a bummer because it felt like, oh, it's like, damn, this is a huge cast of characters. And then really we're only focusing on like a handful of them, some of them. And I get it. It's just, it's for time. Like there's literally no way of doing it without making the movie 3 hours long or like making a mini series out of it. So like, I guess in that way it was like a little bit lacking, but like, you know, it's just in the way that like a novel can do what a movie can't, etc. But overall, I had a really good time with it. It was charming and weird and funny, and some of the kills were pretty great. So that's kind of where I'm landing.
Nice. Then,
Do you want to go? Me go? Okay. I was also not really sure what to rate it because I saw the movie before I read the novel, and I loved it. Like, it's what got me into it, and I was like a huge fan already before I read the novel. So I was trying to kind of detach myself as much as possible when thinking about the score here, and kind of forget everything that, oh, I wish this would have been in, and blah blah blah. I feel like I can't give it anything less than an 8 because I do love it. I watched it probably over 30 times. Like I watched it so much, and I wouldn't do that if I didn't love it. I agree about what was said about like pacing. Like it always feels like it goes so quickly because it's always entertaining. Like I'm never bored. I'm never not paying attention. I'm never not like intrigued by what's going on. So, and obviously I love the characters and miss some of their novel characterizations. But I still love most of them in the movie as well. And find myself like caring for them and wanting more, which I think is always a good thing. I'm not like, ugh, get off my screen. I want it to give me more, which is why it's not a 10 or a 9. But that's still like a testament to the fact that it is good. Because if not, then I just wouldn't want anything. So yeah, it's probably an 8 for me.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for me, I'm like trying to separate it from the novel because I read the novel first and then watched the movie. So trying to completely separate it, what I would have done if I hadn't read the book, I would
go with what your gut's telling you.
I would go with a 7. For me, if it wasn't for the book, I think it would be a movie like I'd go into theaters, I would enjoy it. I would be like, that was a good movie, and I'd talk about it. And then, I would move on with my life. Like, I don't think, like, it's a solid movie. It's a movie I can rewatch again, but I don't think it's one where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to watch this all the time, or at least I wouldn't want to if, the other mediums with it hadn't got me so invested in the characters. Like,
the manga.
I'm so insulted. But yeah, like
so do you like the movie more because you read the book first?
Yes. Yeah, I would say I would say the novel enhanced my feelings on some things for the books.
Oh, that's cool.
Because
I see.
It gives me background, like some of the characters that I wouldn't have cared about had I just watched the movie, because I'm like, oh, they were there for 3 seconds. It's like I know the background. Like I like the Lighthouse Girls more because I do have a little background, or like even how the fandom has changed things. Like fandom gives you new interpretation. So I feel like that's kind of enhanced all of it for me.
Yeah, I think I kind of think of it that way too, that like, yeah, like even though you don't get certain moments in the book, like it's still nice like seeing the characters like in the classroom scene or being like, oh, I know who that is, I know what happens to them and stuff, and like me and Ida were talking about like how like, you know, the characters that like I played who is barely in the movie at all, but I'm still like, there he is, there's my guy.
That's my boy.
There's my special boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't for I tried to go without any background, I would say 7. Like if I had just watched the movie, I think I would have come out saying it was a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because though I read the other stuff, I would say it was higher, but I'm trying to give my independent movie opinion if you haven't interacted with anything else.
I mean, I guess to be clear, like, but maybe it's because I feel a little differently about the movie than you guys do. Like, I do separate them when I'm like watching them, but I do think that the book has enhanced my enjoyment of the movie as well. Mm-hmm. So, that is probably where my score comes from too, is like that influence of the book.
Yeah, because when I rewatch it, I definitely have like the novel in mind, and I like seeing the characters on screen. Like you said, TJ, like I just like in the classroom scene, I'm like, oh, there's that character and that character, and like we don't see them again in the movie, but at least they're here.
Yeah,
it's nice seeing them.
I did. I watched the movie first too, and I think that partly has a little bit of it too. It's like if it's the thing that gets you into the fandom, it's like, you know, there's that little extra little bit of import to it as well.
Yeah, because I guess it could go either way, but like I feel like if I did what Peyton did and read the novel first, I would have watched the movie and I would have gotten to the point where Katsuo is a transfer student and Mitsuru doesn't have his chapter, and I would be like, I'm turning this shit off. Like, hell no. Get this away from me. I would have been so disappointed. It's kind of like in the manga when Yutaka starts speaking about his crush, and then they start showing frames of Fumio and not Izumi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I closed that shit.
Is she not the superior love interest?
Don't.
I want to know who we should have searched the Tumblr depths for a fan whose introduction to this franchise was the second movie. That's their entry point. I want to know that person.
I don't think that exists. Like, who would see the sequel and just watch it first?
They exist.
They saw a trailer and they thought that Shuya's hair looked really cool in the sequel, and they're like, yeah, I gotta check that out.
They're like, this looks great. I need to see this now.
Well, I guess I've never seen anyone start with the second movie, but I have seen Hardcore Battle Royale 2 is the best of the Battle Royale everything. And I don't get it, but they exist, and I'm happy for them, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention this more when we talk about the second movie, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get to it. So we're so the next episode, which is we're gonna roll right into, but the next episode for people listening, we're gonna cover the second movie, Battle Royale 2 Requiem, from 2003, directed by Kenta Fukasaku. And so watch that before the next episode if you don't want to be spoiled for it. These episodes come out on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST on YouTube in video form, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more in audio form. And we also have social pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And thanks again to our guests, even though we're going to continue talking, but thanks again. And with all that said, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I look really cool right now. I'm TJ, and with me as always.
I don't know. Does anyone want to admit that they have a crush on me right now? I am Nick, and joining us for this episode.
Oh, hi, I'm Ida.
And Peyton.
And good GG's. How about that? Good game.
Yeah.